Hey, so I felt like doing a video on why you're not getting clients and what to do about it. I've had a lot of new students in the past couple months, and I've seen a lot of pitfalls that some of the people would make around getting clients and why they struggle to get clients compared to the guys that are able to get a lot of clients, do very well, and what separates the two. So I think there's three main things that boils down to your ability to get clients and why most people struggle. Number one is lack of information. You don't know who to reach out to, how to reach out to them, where to reach out to them. You don't know the process. Number two is the lack of action. So even if I give you the exact steps of like, this is exactly who you should reach out to, this is when you should reach out to them, this is how you should reach out to them, this is what you should reach out to them with, all of that stuff doesn't mean that you're actually going to do it. So there's that part, and the lack of time and lack of volume, I would also say. So a lot of people, they'll do the right process. They'll know the right process to do. They'll actually do the right process, but they don't do it for long enough, or they don't do enough of it. So I've had a lot of people I've spoken to where it's like, I'm really not getting clients. I'm really struggling. I'm like, great. How many people have you reached out to in the past month? They'd be like, I've reached out to 5 people this year. So that's not going to work. And then also time. Sometimes it takes time to, even if you're reaching out to the right amount of people, you're reaching out to the correct people, it might just be a timing issue. You could be reaching out in a period where everyone's on holiday, when it's just random by chance. A lot of companies just have ongoing work, and it's not that it's the wrong person. It's not that you're not reaching out to enough of them. It's just timing. And maybe in a couple of weeks from now, everything changes. So you also need to take all those things to account. So how do you solve each of the issues? So number one, lack of information. That obviously is just up to you to educate yourself. I've got a program on how to get clients, the whole process. I've made free YouTube videos on how to get clients, the whole process. There's lots of other people have made videos on how to get clients and what the whole process is there. That's just up to you to self-educate. The next thing is action. I think this is where most people fall flat. I've had a lot of people come through my program. They watch all the content and stuff, and they're like, okay, this is all I need, and then they don't do anything. So many people will never attend a call. They'll never ask for help. They feel like all they need is this extra hack, this extra trick. They want something special, something new, something that feels different. Like a lot of people ask me about AI, any AI automation tools, stuff like that. They're all trying to find this hack, but they never actually do anything. And I think that's a huge pitfall for a lot of people, because if you could just be 5 clients, 5 reach outs away from getting a client that will book you for 2 years, but you just don't do it. You don't take the actual action. There's lots of ways to solve that, right? Obviously, having someone to help you is a big thing, like having the accountability, someone, and I'm not saying like it has to be me, it could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be anyone. Having someone that keeps you in check to do the things that you're meant to do, making sure that you're actually reaching out to people, making sure you're doing it consistently, making sure you're doing it enough and the amount of volume, that stuff really helps. Because if you have no one to be accountable to and it's just yourself, it's easy to just slack off because there's no consequences. You need a consequence for not doing the action, or you won't do it. You can also set up rewards for yourself. A lot of people, including me, find reaching out to clients directly, it's not always the most fun thing to do. It's not always the easiest thing to do. A lot of people have this they have issues with their own self-image in terms of imposter syndrome. Who am I to reach out to people offering all these things? Am I going to bother anyone? Am I going to offend anyone? Am I reaching out to the right person? So that's lack of confidence. Am I good enough? So that's also lack of confidence. Is my work good enough? Am I ready yet? Am I doing this the right way? So that's lack of confidence in the process. All of these things that stop you from doing it. So if you have a consequence for not doing it, and then also a reward, like let's say you reach out to 10 people a day, after you reach out to the 10 people, you give yourself a treat. You can have a coffee and a cookie or something. If you do this over like 30 days, you'll build a habit of being able to do a revenue generating habit. And a lot of creative people they've got a lot of good habits in terms of creating, but they don't have any good habits in terms of actually generating revenue. So you can produce 100 projects that are great and amazing for your portfolio, but if no one ever sees it and you never reach out to anyone, it doesn't matter, unfortunately. When it comes to getting paid, whether it makes you feel good is another story, but if you actually want to get paid, then you need revenue generating habits, things that you do on a daily basis that actually generate revenue, not things that you think might generate revenue, like posting on Instagram. Maybe you'll get 100 views and one of those views might be a client and one of those clients might randomly reach out to you. That's not a process, right? That's not a strategy. That's just like wishful thinking. But if you can have a revenue generating habit, where you're doing something on a daily basis, there's consequence for not doing it, there's reward for doing it. That's how you are able to get yourself to take action. And of course, it also helps to be accountable to things. Have someone that you can check in with on a weekly basis, just to make sure you're actually doing the right things. If you're not, why is that? Is it like difficult things like you don't know who to reach out to and all that stuff, or is it simple like you just forgot, or you went on holiday, or you didn't feel like it, or then you can tackle all of those issues around time management. There's each issue has its own way of solving it, but like that's how you can tackle those things so that you have someone accountable to be accountable to. So that's the action part, and I went very in depth on that because that's the biggest area where most people just don't do anything. It doesn't matter how much information you give them; it's not going to change anything because they can't take the action. So that's that. Then the next thing is obviously time and volume. So are you giving yourself enough time? Are you doing enough volume? So a lot of people will reach out to 10 people a year. That's not enough. You need to be doing 10, 20, 30. A lot of people say the rule of 100. If you do 100 a day, like it's almost impossible that you won't get clients. I believe that's true. A lot of platforms have limitations to how many people you can reach out to. So that's why I've always said like 10, 15, 20 a day is good. If you're doing that and you're reaching out to the right person, your portfolio is good, your messaging is good, at some point you get enough clients if you give it enough time. So long as you're doing enough volume, you're doing enough giving it enough time, you'll get clients. And things compound, right? In the beginning, you might see nothing for like a couple weeks. But as your connections build, as more and more people engage with your stuff, it grows, right? It compounds on top of each other. The more you post, and I'm not talking about like trying to become viral, just like posting personal posts, value posts, testimonials. The more you connect with people, the more people you message, the more that they'll refer to those people, the more connections you have, the more you get recommended, the more people that like your posts from these new connections, the more it gets recommended to new people. That compounds, and that's how you can easily go from like weeks with not much going on to suddenly the next month, things are just blowing up and you feel like everyone's reaching out to you. You don't know why, don't know where it's coming from. It just feels very sudden, right? But like you don't realize that you need to give things time, give things volume, and things compound. So if you can stick to something, if you've got the right information, right? So that's the right process of what to do. You're taking the right action. So you're actually doing it. You're doing it consistently. And you give it enough time and volume. It's highly unreasonable that you won't get clients and, you'll still have issues getting clients, because every single person I've seen done that, they've all gotten clients at some point. Some people have gotten their first client in a week. Some people it takes 4 weeks. But they've all gotten to a point where they're getting like 5K projects, 6K projects. A lot of people are like earning between 5 and 10K per month. I've had students that have gotten one client and they've been doing the same client work for 2 years, completely fine. They got one client, never had to get a client again. Things like that happen if you're able to, do the right things. And I think most people fall flat in these areas because I've seen all of the steps, right? A lot of people are like, I don't know who to reach out to. You give them that. You give them the right information. People join my program, they watch all the videos, and they're like, that's all I need. And then I'll check in with them like, hey, like, how's the progress going in this week? Have you done anything? They haven't done anything. They've just consumed new information, and they're now going to go search for the new strategy. But like, you're not actually implementing anything. You're not actually doing anything, so nothing's actually going to change. And that's the part where I think most people fall flat. If you have the right information, you take the right action, then you just need to make sure you're doing enough volume, you're doing it for long enough, And so long as you're iterating and you're adapting, just because if you reach out to 1,000, let's make more conservative, 100 cosmetics brands, and they're all telling you they're not interested, at some point you need to think like, maybe I shouldn't go for cosmetics. Maybe I should try something else like, I don't know, alcohol. Or beverages, and you try beverages and you see what are the differences between how many people are accepting you, the response rates, the type of responses you're getting. You need to actually iterate and adapt and not just do the same thing and expect a different result, definition of insanity. So I think for most people, from what I've seen thousands of 3D artists over the past 8 years, those are the 4 areas when it comes to getting clients that you need to focus on. And if you can get that right, you'll never have problems with clients again. It doesn't matter AI, it doesn't matter 2024, 2025, 2023, same process, same stuff you need to focus on, and you'll be good. So focus on that and you'll be Gucci.